Welcome to Movie Rehash. Today, I'm going to explain a fantasy, action movie released in 2012, titled, Ega. Spoiler alert. Watch out and take care. At the beginning of the movie, we see a wealthy and powerful businessman named Sudeep. He is practicing shooting a firearm in a training center. While he is training, his friend and business partner, Aditya, comes to see him. Actually, they have important meeting to attend soon, but Sudeep doesn't know about it and is not prepared for it. Aditya tells Sudeep to be more careful because their client is not easy to satisfy, but Sudeep ignores him, and goes to a woman on the other side of the field, and flirts with her, teaching her how to shoot a gun. Meanwhile, Bindu, a miniature artist, creates a small heart sculpture, but she is not happy with her work. When the electricity goes out, Bindu moves her workspace near the window and uses the moonlight to continue working on her sculpture. Nani lives next door to Bindu and has liked her for 2 years. Bindu doesn't pay much attention to him, but Nani hopes to win her heart someday. One day, Nani sees Bindu struggling to work in the dark, so he makes a simple light bulb for her using a torchlight and aluminum foil. Bindu is happy and completes her work. However, after finishing her work, she closes her window and goes to sleep, without thanking Nani. Nani's friend thinks Bindu is rude for not thanking him, but Nani is still in love with her. Nani says she closed the window to help him because he would have waited for her all night if she didn't. The next day, Sudeep has a special party to celebrate his company's 3rd anniversary. A client who was causing him trouble gives him a file as a gift. Aditya is surprised because he didn't think the client would agree to sign the papers, but he becomes even more surprised when he realizes that the client's wife is the same woman Sudeep had flirted with at the shooting range. Sudeep uses client's wife to help him close a business deal with a client. After that, they go to a bar to celebrate their success. While they are talking, it is revealed that Sudeep's late wife is the source of his wealth, and he had killed her a few years ago. Since then, he has taken over her company and running it himself. Bindu is a miniature artist who also runs an NGO called Project 551 that helps children get an education. She is at the Project 551 office, planning to buy books for children in need, but the organization didn't have enough money. Someone suggests that Bindu should meet with Sudeep because his company is interested in supporting a non-profit organization. After this, she goes to the office, and when Sudeep sees her, he abruptly attracted by her beauty, and can't stop looking at her, even when she talks about the good things her organization does. At the end of the meeting, Sudeep gives her a big check for her organization, but she doesn't know that he is more interested in her than the charity. A few days later, they give school supplies to poor kids, and after that, Sudeep invites her to a nice restaurant for lunch. When they are about to order food, she gets a text from Nani, complimenting her appearance. She quickly looks around and notices him staring at her across the restaurant. Bindu can't stop looking at him and ignores Sudeep completely. Sudeep feels bad when he sees Bindu looking at someone else. After they finish eating, Sudeep takes Bindu home, but she asks him to stop so she can go grocery shopping. When Bindu leaves, Sudeep follows her and sees her with Nani. This makes him very angry and jealous because no woman has ever ignored him before. So, he decides to break up Bindu and Nani. One night, Bindu works late and lost track of time. When it's time to go home, she is scared to walk alone. So she sends Nani a message without any words, knowing he would understand what it means, and comes to her. He got the message and comes to her as she thought he would. They walk home quietly. After Bindu goes inside her home, a white van comes by, and the people inside it kidnaps Nani. These people are bad guys sent by Sudeep to get Nani out of Bindu's life. They take Nani to a deserted house and beat him up very badly. Sudeep also comes to that place and hit him over and over again. Nani gets angry when he finds out that Sudeep is hitting him because of Bindu. He tells Sudeep that he will kill anyone who tries to harm Bindu. This makes Sudeep even angrier, so he beats Nani until he dies. After Nani's death, Bindu calls him to say that she loves him, but it's too late. Later on, Nani's dead body starts glowing blue, and the light transfers to a fly's egg. The next morning, Nani's body is found in the middle of the road and the police say it was an accident. Bindu sees Nani's body being taken away in an ambulance and is very upset. 10 days later, the egg that was hit by the strange light hatches and a baby fly is born. The fly is Nani, who has come back as an animal to get revenge on his killer. At first, he doesn't remember his past life and tries to fly away, but his wings are stuck to his body. He manages to free his wings and starts exploring his new life. He finds floating bubbles and children playing around him fascinating and starts playing with them. While flying, he gets stuck on a cricket ball and lands on an apple. Soon, a bird starts chasing him, and he flies into a house. Unfortunately, a human accidentally drowns him in a mug of water. The fly recognizes the man, Sudeep, who killed him, and suddenly he remembers his past life. He is really angry when he finds out the truth and attacks Sudeep, who killed him. But he soon realizes that he is no longer a human and couldn't hurt the killer much. The killer easily swatted him to the ground. Then he remembers Bindu and goes to her house quickly. When he sees her, he feels so many feelings all at once. He tries to get her to notice him, but he is just a tiny fly and she doesn't pay attention to him. Bindu talks to her sister-in-law about Nani and tells her that she misses him. When the fly heard this, he is determined to make her notice him. Later that day, Sudeep comes to see Bindu in her office. He pretends to be sad about Nani's death and tries to get closer to her. However, a fly gets inside Sudeep's ear and tries to protect Bindu by bothering him. In the next scene, Sudeep goes into a wooden steam bath and gets tied up. The fly gets inside his ear and causes him to move around, which makes a box move and nearly hits him with a sharp shower handle. Sudeep tries to kill the fly and ends up running out of the bath naked, looking foolish in front of his business partners. Later on, Sudeep is back in the office and suggests to Bindu that they go to Delhi together to help their organization. They plan to leave the next day, but the fly keeps bothering Sudeep all night so he cannot sleep. Finally, Sudeep manages to fall asleep for a few minutes, but he wakes up by a call from Bindu who says they have to go to the airport in half an hour. Sudeep rushes to the airport, but Nani joins him on the way. Then Fly bothers a traffic policeman, making him to move his hand in random direction and causes a traffic jam. When Sudeep changes cars, the fly attacks his eye and causes him to crash. The fly then writes "I will kill you" on the car window with dust. Sudeep is rescued, but he becomes paranoid that the fly will come after him. Sudeep always carries bug spray with him to stay safe. Other people think he's crazy, but he doesn't care. One day, Bindu comes to visit him and a fly starts attacking Sudeep again. Bindu sprays the fly with the bug spray, and it falls out the window onto a bush. The fly is about to die when the water sprinkler starts and washes off the bug spray from its body. Later, Sudeep goes to an insect expert to ask if flies can take revenge. The doctor thinks Sudeep is just imagining things and tells him to rest, but Sudeep doesn't believe anyone and goes to a garbage dump where his car was taken after a crash. Sudeep meets a weird man who warns him that his money will soon go up in flames. Sudeep ignores him and searches through the wreckage for a piece of glass that has the word "kill" on it. He realizes that the fly was trying to kill him. The next day, Nani sees Bindu crying and remembering his death. He uses her tears to write a message to her on the table. Bindu is shocked when she reads it and asks Nani if it's really him. Nani nods his head, indicating that he has been reborn as a fly. Later, the fly manages to communicate that Sudeep killed him so he could get closer to Bindu. Bindu is shocked. She believes the fly and promises to help him to take revenge on Sudeep. Bindu is an artist who creates small glasses to protect the fly from being killed by fly sprays. Sudeep tries to find and kill the fly using different methods like baits and swatters, but they all fail. Nani lights his bed on fire. He makes him drink fly bait, and keeping him awake at night, but nothing works. Finally, the fly decides to use a cannon filled with gunpowder and light it at the right time to kill Sudeep. For a few days, Bindu put a small amount of gunpowder in a bucket for Nani, who used it to fill a cannon. They do this many times until the cannon completely fills, but their plan doesn't work when the man puts tissue paper into the cannon's opening. The next day, Sudeep installs special glass and scanners in his house to keep insects out. This makes it difficult for Nani to enter, so Bindu has to go to Sudeep's house and let Nani in. While there, Sudeep tries to touch Bindu in a wrong way, but a fly comes to her rescue and dug its claws into Sudeep's skin, making him back off. The following day, Sudeep has an important meeting with investors who are interested in funding his upcoming project. However, because he hasn't slept well and is scared of fly, he starts talking about fly repellent sprays in the middle of his presentation. Also, something else happened when Nani lands on an investor's head. So Sudeep slaps on investor's head. This causes the investor to refuse to fund Sudeep's project, which makes Sudeep and his company go into debt. Following that, the income tax officers informed that Sudeep had been keeping huge amount of black money which he has hidden in the office. Sudeep quickly tries to move the money somewhere else, but a fly causes it to catch fire and turn into ash. This left Sudeep with hardly any money. Suddenly, Sudeep remembers a man he had met at the dumping site who said that his money would burn. Later, Sudeep goes to find a man named Tantra who knows a lot about black magic. Together, they figure out that the fly is actually a person named Nani who wants revenge. They perform a ritual and create two evil birds to catch Nani. Birds chase the fly around the house but he kills the birds instead. Smoke fills the house and Sudeep and Tantra get stuck inside the house, but Aditya saves them. Later, Sudeep watches the security camera footage and learns that Bindu let the fly in. Now, Sudeep comes to know about their secret, so he decides to use Bindu to get to Nani and takes her as a hostage. When Nani shows up to save Bindu, fight breaks out and Bindu manages to hide while the fly distracts Sudeep. He picks up a needle and throws it at Sudeep's eye, but Sudeep uses a magnet to stop it, finally traps the fly. Sudeep finds Bindu and captures her again. He then cuts off the fly's wing and makes fun of them. Nani notices that the paper blocking the cannon has fallen out, which means it can fire again. Hardly, the fly covers himself with gunpowder and jumps into the loaded cannon through a burning match. The object goes through Sudeep, and he dies. It also hits a cylinder of oxygen, which creates a big explosion that burns down his whole house. In the final scene, we see Bindu driving to work, and a man yells at her in a disrespectful way. Then, Nani, who has been reincarnated as a fly once again, attacks the man with a needle and declares his comeback. In this way, movie ends here.